Hello students, welcome to the session on RDBMS. In our today's session, we are going to discuss one more important topic from your 5th unit, that is client and server architecture. In this client and server architecture, we will divide the systems into two types, the clients and servers. Clients are the systems which are making the request for the data from the database, and servers are the systems which will be providing the data and resources to the clients. Okay, this is the server where you people will be maintaining the database or as the data or as the resources I can say, and these resources and the data will be requested by whom? Clients. Client 1, client 2, client 3, who will be connected to what? Internet or computer networks that we have discussed from the starting itself. Okay, they will be requesting for the data to your server, and server will be searching for that particular related data and the resources that are needed by your clients, and it will be served to the clients as per their requirement. They are the characteristics of your client and server architecture. Server will always look for the good enough resources which will be satisfying the clients. Okay, they will be serving the information as per the client's request, and always do remember that the clients can request the data, they can't demand the data. They will always request the data from the client to server, and everyone will be requesting for the data, no? And every system will be getting their response. They will be giving the information in the form of response. This is what the client and server architecture. You people can easily understand, ma? You just go through your material so that you people will be getting these points. This we have discussed earlier. That is the reason I don't want to spend much more time onto it. Just I will go for the next point that has to be discussed with you people, that is client and server architecture and its advantages, disadvantages, and how many types. Okay, that I will go for. See here, I have taken this from your material itself. Just go through it. Client and server architecture and client and server model describes how a server provides the resources and the services to one or more clients. Means to say that this is a structure where we will be discussing how they will be serving the clients. More than one client will be there, no, for the request. Okay, server need to provide the services to all the clients who are connected in the network. How it will be done, that we are going to discuss in today's session. And servers includes web services, mail services, file servers, etc., which will be given by your clients, and all the requests will be made by from different devices like computers, laptops, whatever the devices that they are using, and we will be handling all those requests in such a manner that we will be providing the accurate information to the servers. Okay, say suppose if someone is requesting for the mail, they will be requesting for what? SMTP, that is simple mail transfer protocol. By using some protocols, we will be specifying the rules and regulations that has to be followed in order to get the secured data from your servers, and these will happen by following structures. Okay, like 2-tier architecture and 3-tier architecture. These are the two types of architectures that we are going to follow, or as a structure, as I can say. Okay, in case of 2-tier architecture, whatever the discussion that we had in the case of client and server, that we could see again. Okay, means to say that we will be having only 2 tiers over here. One is client, one is server. There will be no mediation between the client and server in case of 2-tier architecture. We will be having what? 2-tier architecture like client server application. We will be having a client, we will be having a server. In between them, we will be not having any application, any software which will be working for that. Okay, directly client can request for the data to your database administrator, who is acting like a server. Okay, 2-tier architecture will be having two things only. One is client application and is data source. Means to say that database, I can say, or as a server who is providing the databases. This is the 2-tier architecture. In this, we could go for some examples, like say suppose if we are going for a reservation, okay, from the counter 1 also we will be accepting the same details, from the counter 2 also we will be accepting the same details. Reservation means you could go for railway reservation or as any reservation, you will be having number of counters over there. From the counter 1, counter 2, counter 3, whatever the counters that we are available with, every counter will be accepting the same data in order to say them whether they are available with the tickets or not. But in this case, what they will do is they will be using what simple two-tier architecture where they will be requesting for the server. The server is the one which will be consisting the same data which will be provided for counter 1, counter 2, counter 3, whatever the number of counters that we are having. Okay, so in this way we will be providing the services when we are going for the reservations. And in the staff, whatever the staff that they are using, counter 1, counter 2, we will be having different kind of staffs now. They will be using what? They will be using the same database for the railway reservation. As I mentioned you earlier, they will be using railway reservation application software in order to get the details. If say suppose he gives input for the application software, it sends a request to the server. Okay, so here both the database and server are incorporated to each other, so this technology is called as what? Client server technology. Every staff who is working on the different kind of counters, they will be requesting for the data and they will be sent towards server and they will be giving us the response. This is the discussion that we will be having in case of two-tier architecture, and we will be having some advantages towards them. Communication will be faster. Why? Because we are not having any mediators, no need of any conversation between them, so easy to maintain and easy to modify. But here the cost is more effective. Why? Because different kind of application users will be there and they will be requesting for the different kind of data among themselves. Okay, and performance will be degraded upon increasing the number of users. Means to say that if say suppose 50 members are working onto the same data, it may become little bit tougher for the server to provide the data for them. Okay, and we are having three-tier architecture. In the three-tier architecture, as I already told you people, in case of your two-tier architecture, we do have only client and server. But in this case, we do have one more mediator or else one more software which will be acting like a mediator, right? And here you see, when we are going for a technical details, three-tier architecture typically comprises of presentation layer in between. Okay, presentation layer in between, like presentation layer and business layer and data access layer. We will be having three kind of layers over here, three kind of tiers over here. In the previous one we do have only two. Here the additional layer is that business or tier, business tier I can say, right? Client layer, business layer and data layer. Client, we know already who is requesting for the data, who will be having a user interface application, so through them they will be having a communication between us. And this layer will be always asking for the data, and it will be using some web applications, designing process, text boxes, labels, etc, etc. And we know about the data layer, where it will be acting like a server actually, from which we will be getting the data, and we know about it. I'm not discussing much more about it. This layer actually, database, comes in the picture. In this data layer, the database will comes into the picture, and it will be accessing the data. In order to access the data, database will be accessed from this layer, containing different kind of methods in order to have a communication. We will be having insert, delete, update, show, different kind of operations that we could perform onto the database. Okay, and here the main part of your three-tier architecture comes here is business layer. See here in this business layer, you can observe this logic written like a validation of data, calculations and data insertion. Means to say that here itself, in this particular layer itself, we will be validating the user, we will be validating the authentication, whether they are having the access, whether they are regulated, whether they are allowed to access that particular data. That kind of decisions will be taken in this particular layer, I can say. This acts like interface between what? Client and data access layer. This layer is called as intermediate, or as intermediate between what? Client and server, I can say. That is what we have discussed earlier, and the validations will be done by this particular layer, I can say, in the simple manner. If you see picture diagrammatically, then three-tier architecture will be having these kind of three tiers over data sources and application servers and client applications. Means to say that here we will be working by using the different kind of applications, and here it will be working by different kind of servers, I can say, where the actual database will be fault and resources will be there. But in between these application servers, what they will do is, we will be giving the request to them, and they will be converted into the servers, and it will be picking the data or as the resources from the servers which are related to these particular clients, and it will be sent back in the form of response. This is how we will be having the 3-tier architecture. And here we will be having some advantages when we are using the 3-tier architecture. High performance, lightweight, persistent object. Why? Because the burden will be reduced from the server as well as the client side. Why? Because they will be taken care by your intermediary layer, like application layers, or I can say business layer. Okay. And scalability, each tier can scale horizontally. Okay. And performance will be increased. Okay, as you know already, burden will be reduced, no, better usage and improve data integrity. As I already told you, people validation will be done. Okay, easy maintenance. Okay, we will be not having a harmless. Why? Because we will be not having any direct communication from the client to server, no. So in between we will be having one more person who is acting like an interface. So it is benefit for us. Okay, so in this way we will be having client and server architecture. It is very simple, but I hope it may come in your examination. So kindly go through this particular answer. If you are having any doubts, just let me know by your messages. That's it for now. Thank you. See you in the next one.